All right, let's go ahead and get started here. So yeah, I'm Nick. Just a few housekeeping items here first. Over to your right, there's a bunch of panels and options, so you can switch your audio out and from audio to voice or IP, that kind of thing. There's also a little question panel there. Please use that because we'll be answering questions during the session. You've got some technical people here, including myself, to help answer questions about AWS, AT&T, and Aira. So please put those questions in there. That way we can make this a little more interactive and get some questions answered. And the sort of most common question we usually get is this session going to be recorded? Will I get a copy of the deck? The answer is yes. A day or two after this webinar ends, you'll get an email with the recording and that kind of thing. So that said, welcome everyone to the webinar. This is a session talking about expanding your reach with AT&T NetBond and AWS. Nick Matthews, I'm a solutions architect here. We've got a host of folks from AT&T and Aira, including Shirley Francis, Kevin Odoms, Greg Stilson, and Sujit Kanagati. So let's go ahead and start off with a bit of an AWS introduction to sort of give us a level set of what we're talking about with AWS networking specifically. So when we start thinking about AWS specifically, we like to say that the cloud is the new normal because we see that it's sort of abnormal for enterprises and customers not to be looking at the cloud in some way, shape, or form. And so as that happens, we've got a lot of sort of core AWS and cloud benefits that we have. Those include scalability, security, global footprint, and cost effectiveness. So there's a bunch of reasons to move to the cloud, but one of the things I've seen with my work with customers and enterprises is that these benefits are sometimes only as good as the networking sort of underlay or the networking foundation that you've laid for your cloud journey. So like, is the cloud scalable and totally elastic and those kind of things? Yes. Is your network? Well, I hope so. And if it's not, then you probably won't get the benefits of all the functionality of the cloud. And so making sure that your network is scalable and you have enough bandwidth and that you're not running out of resources and that you've got the right IP addresses and CIDR ranges and VPCs and networking stuff set up is super important. Security is a big cloud benefit. We believe that customers can be more secure on the cloud than they can on premises. We think that the automation that's available, we think that the highly scalable operations and the intense focus and security at scale that we provide, as well as the auditability and all of the security and authorization reports we provide as part of AWS, allows you to be more secure in the cloud as opposed to on-premises. But obviously your networking is a core component to that. And so making sure that you've got your segmentation set up correctly, that any sort of network level controls like firewalls or in AWS, the equivalency of security groups, making sure those are set up correctly and at scale as well is super important. And one other thing that's particularly interesting about AWS is just sort of our reach. So we've got now, as of yesterday, 19 different regions with 58 availability zones. So each availability zone is effectively sort of its own data center. Sometimes it represents more than one data center, but each availability zone is a fault-tolerant place where you can put your applications. Each one of our regions is made up of multiple availability zones. So if you want to deploy a highly available application, choose a region, deploy it into multiple availability zones or multiple data centers. And then you can do synchronous replication, all that sort of stuff within the region. And our regions are designed so they won't affect one another. And so, if you want to deploy an application on 5 continents today, and you've got some automation, you could do that. You could replicate it 19 times if you wanted to. And so we like to say customers can go global in minutes. That's great for an application developer and you've got a global customer base. It can be a little bit more challenging if you're the network person that has to make sure that the users and the data centers and the branch offices can get and reach to 19 new data centers that you just created in one day. That can be a different challenge from a networking perspective. It also offers a lot of opportunity. So if you want to deploy virtual services as opposed to deploying a web app, maybe you want to deploy software-defined WAN or VPN services or firewall services or any sort of network service or load balancers globally, you can do that too. So it's effective and it's interesting. As well as the cost effectiveness that, working at scale, making sure that we think that you can lower your costs on AWS, particularly because of the scalability and the dynamic pay-as-you-go sort of nature. But you can do the same thing with the networking as well. And we'll get into that as we talk a little bit more about Direct Connect. So in terms of what we do with networking in AWS, it looks something like this. Our core offering is called Virtual Private Cloud, or VPC. We tell people this is sort of like a virtual data center in the cloud. So it's a segmented area where you can put multiple subnets. You can make this cloud exist over multiple availability zones. So you can create your resources, but then they can only talk to each other. And if you want them to talk to anything else, like the internet, or on-premises through VPN, or on-premises through a private circuit, you have to configure that explicitly. So it gives you a high level of segmentation and provides you sort of your safe private space for networking inside of AWS. And you can basically create as many of those as you want. So you can think of those as individual data centers or branches, or you can have an application per VPC or an application per business unit. They're pretty highly flexible. You can do what you want with them. The second sort of core concept, and this is particularly important today, is AWS Direct Connect. So Direct Connect is essentially the ability for you to connect your backbone to our backbone. So if you want to access your private VPCs over a private circuit, you can do that with Direct Connect. I mean, you can still use internet, you can still use VPN, those are still options. But particularly for customers that are interested in low latency network connectivity at high bandwidths, AWS Direct Connect is particularly effective. For customers that have existing WAN networks, so if you have MPLS or VPLS or even Ethernet and other based WAN connections, it's easier to just connect that existing WAN network to AWS through Direct Connect, where you can essentially rip ports from us or a partner that allow you direct access into your AWS. We've also got our Elastic Load Balancing suite. So if you want highly scalable, highly performant load balancers, we have the Application Load Balancer, which is sort of like a layer 7 load balancer that lets you do PAth and SNI and SSL and TLS sort of functionality for your web applications. We've also got a network load balancer that does basic layer 4 load balancing at high speeds and low latency. And then from a DNS perspective, we've got Amazon Route 53. So this allows you to create, your global load balancing segmentation options. If you want to do failover between regions, if you want to do geography-based routing or latency-based routing, Amazon Route 53 is probably sort of the thing to look at there. So, we've built a pretty interesting software-defined network on AWS. We've built it sort of from the ground up. It's most of it is custom. If any of you guys will be out at reInvent in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking more about how we build our network and how it was built. Very interesting stuff. But the end result for you as a customer is that, you've got this highly flexible, highly elastic network. What do you want to do with it? One of the patterns I quite often see with customers, they go, hey, like maybe we've built a DMZ, or maybe we have this existing WAN, or we have a number of other things. How do we take some of what we have already and bring it to the cloud? We don't necessarily want to start over. Like we have some vendors we like to use, or we have some architecture that we've tested, or that our security and networking group are interested in, or we've got some monitoring solutions. Whatever it has, you may want to choose to bring some things to AWS. And so AWS Marketplace is a great place to help you solve that problem. You can take a look. If you've got solutions that you already have, you can see if those are available in AWS. The majority are. We've got a strong networking category of solutions there. As well, you can do proof of concept testing and test out some of those solutions because you can pay by the hour or by the minute in some cases, or even by the second on other services. So you can pay as you go for these types of tests. You can do it rapidly. You don't really need to talk to anyone for licenses, that kind of stuff. So find out what works for you, get it working, and then then you can go big with it, right? Then you can probably do some testing and that kind of thing. But then if you wanted to, you could launch it all across the world. And so that sort of going back to that global reach of what we were talking about earlier. So it's super interesting to me. And so especially now, if you want to talk about global reach and this high bandwidth, low latency type of stuff, that's where a lot of the direct connect comes in. And that's where we partnered with AT&T with NetBond, and which we'll sort of go through now. So Shirley, if you want to sort of take it from there and let us know more about that, I think it'd be helpful.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Hello, everyone. I'm Shirley Francis. I'm a lead product manager with AT&T, and I lead a lot of go-to-market initiatives with alliance partners. And today I'm going to give an overview of AT&T NetBond. and some of the key benefits to you as an enterprise customer. And on the call with me, I have Kevin Odom. Kevin leads the AWS Alliance for AT&T, and he'll give more details about the NetBond integration and architecture with AWS. And last but not least, I'm really excited to be featuring one of our valuable customers, Aira, and Sajid and Greg, they will talk about their technology that assists the blind and low vision, and how they have to, really rely on AT&T NetBond secure connectivity and network performance. So with that said, I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so I'll just hit on this quickly. When you look at some of the trends in the market around cloud adoption, a lot of customers have concerns about, shifting their workload to the cloud. And the great thing about technology and these market trends is that when you think about virtualization, Internet of Things, augmented reality, virtual reality, all of these technologies are really transforming the way we connect with our customers, partners, and employees. And although these technologies are great and they enable us to be more agile and productive and innovative, they also present certain risks and concerns with customers. And with AT&T, when we talk to a lot of enterprise customers, and they identified 4 primary concerns that influence their decision to, shift their workloads to the cloud. So it's security, performance, complexity, and expense. And the great news is that AT&T NetBond addresses and solves these, customers' concerns. And so as an enterprise customer, when you're thinking about moving your workload to the cloud, you really want to work with a trusted advisor like AT&T. Okay, and where does AT&T NetBond start? It all starts with our AT&T Global MPLS Network, which is really built for reach and speed. And so think about that as a customer. NetBond, AT&T NetBond, is built on our core MPLS network that reaches 198 countries, all where we have VPN. And so this is really critical to you because as a customer, as you're looking to grow your business, grow your technology and scale, you want a company or a network provider like AT&T who you can easily scale with. And so I won't touch on all of these data points on here, but as you can see, we have a very vast network, and we continue to build on this network. As an example, our 5G deployment that we announced, 12 cities by the end of 2018, and in 2019, we're adding an additional 7 cities. Today on our network, we have about 19.5 million connected cars. So think about that. You have to have a network that can really support all of these connected devices. And then we also certify more types of connected devices. Think of Aira and their smart glasses that they'll talk about with augmented reality. And again, with AT&T NetBond, which is built on our core, you can rest assured that you're working with a network provider that is going to provide you with the performance and security that you need. So talking about NetBond in terms of, what are some of the key benefits to enterprise customers, right? So again, you think about performance and time to market. So I'm going to touch quickly on each of these, and Aira and Sajid will talk about how each of these areas really impacted their technology and allowed them to scale. So AT&T NetBond extends a customer's private network into the cloud, focusing on security, predictable network performance, and simplicity. So again, when you think about having a highly secure connection, that's very key for technology like augmented reality, virtual reality. They need a predictable connection. That's one of the some of the challenges that Aira faced early on when they were just trying to connect via the internet. The network improves network performance. Again, latency is a huge concern when you're using the newer technology, AR/VR. And the great news is that AT&T NetBond has already architected the infrastructure, which is built on a software-defined model using APIs. And what this means is that as a customer, provisioning connections to a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services can now be done measured in minutes instead of days or weeks or months. This is really key, again, as you're looking at predictable network performance and how to scale your business. In terms of quick implementation, NetBond enables you to quickly add what we call a virtual network connections. And what we see with NetBond is that our customers, they connect to multiple cloud providers, right? And so the reason why this is important is because a customer can scale, add one VNC to one cloud provider, and they can quickly scale to another within minutes. And this is all controlled within our portal that I'll talk about in a second. Again, the key takeaway here is that as you're beginning to look at a network provider, you want to look at AT&T and AT&T NetBond for cloud because, again, we improve the customer experience and time to market. Speaking of which, on the next slide, just to hit on the customer experience, some of the feedback that we receive from our enterprise customers is the ability to self-service their network within our portal. So again, this is an API automation, and customers have access to this in the portal. They can self-service, and we have all these great features built in to our network. Customers can go in, change their bandwidth, scale it up or down based on their usage. You don't have to worry about having a large fleet of IT professionals and other project managers to do this for you. We've really pre-architected this technology to make it very easy for customers to, reduce their, scale up or down their bandwidth, which is what Nick mentioned earlier about being able to scale. The other piece is that in terms of a customer experience, as a business, you can focus on what you do best and then leave the network, performance up to AT&T. As I mentioned, there's no additional equipment to deploy. We've already done the pre-integration with Amazon Web Services. AT&T manages the capacity for customers. And again, you can change your bandwidth whenever you want. And redundancy is also already built in and included with our service. And the great thing about AT&T NetBond, which is built on our MPLS network, it prioritizes real-time business-critical applications. And so all of these are important benefits when you're choosing, again, a network partner like AT&T. You want the ability to quickly have your solution to scale with your technology. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kevin, who's going to talk more about the AT&T NetBond technical architecture and how we integrate with AWS.
Thank you, Shirley. So we've heard so far great information about the benefits, the value props, and how AT&T and AWS are working closely together to align on the necessary abilities to be able to scale into the cloud environment. And so I'm going to take just a moment to dig a little deeper and go through an architecture diagram that we see here to just point out where all of those features and benefits are happening. If we start at the left, Shirley mentioned earlier, those IoT endpoints that are on our network today, and in addition to that, you have traditional office workers who may be sitting in a building or remote. All of those connections tie back into our global MPLS network there, which, as Shirley described, is secured, is redundant in its architecture and our backbone. Really that base platform that all of this connectivity into the cloud and AWS enables that to happen. So as we move to the right, we can see NetBond. So NetBond NetBond for Cloud is our platform for integrating our MPLS network into the cloud, and specifically AWS, where we have built NetBond and the orchestration platform to tie into Direct Connect. If you're not familiar with the Direct Connect, that's the AWS Meet Me interface that we use to be able to access your VPC or the public AWS cloud. Here in this service point is where the orchestration happens to be able to do the real-time provisioning, the real-time bandwidth changes that you may need to scale with your business, the reporting, and something that's not mentioned here, but I think is important since we're talking about security, is we have the ability to put a network-based firewall in line with your connection to further secure the traffic that's going in and out of your network into the cloud. Just a moment to talk about where we have NetBond enabled today. Most of those regions you'll see are the major ones that AWS will use, and especially in Ashburn in the east. On the west coast, we've got Oregon, and then there's our global footprint again that Nick mentioned earlier. We've got coverage throughout the world, and as they continue to grow, we're there. But we recently turned on support for Direct Connect Gateway. If you're not familiar with Direct Connect Gateway, this allows you as a customer to further extend your NetBond connectivity into the cloud by tying together multiple VPCs regardless of region, and having one connection point for all of those VPC environments to talk to each other. So as AWS brings up a new region, or you may be in a region that we're not currently in, you can utilize Direct Connect Gateway to reach it with NetBond. So again, having that capability to reach the entire space of AWS is a benefit of using NetBond. So with that, Shirley, I'll turn it back to you. And if there's any questions around the architecture, happy to answer them in our Q&A.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. And I think that concludes the portion of AT&T NetBond, and we're ready to turn it over to Sujit and Greg so they can go through their use cases and talk about their technology with Aira.
Hello, everyone. This is Sujit Kanaganchi. I'm the co-founder and chief technology officer at Aira. I'm responsible for the technology strategy, architecture, and development for all the platform that we are building for our BVI users. Greg Stilson with me is our director of product management. He'll be talking more in terms of the product features that enables Aira service for the BVI. Greg.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, Sujit, and it's great to be with all of you. As Sujit said, my name is Greg Stilson. I'm a blind individual myself, so not only am I the director of product, but I'm actually a user of this service as well. So what Aira is a service that really brings together humans and blind and low vision people. So when Sujit says BVI or BLV, it's blind and low vision. That's generally what it means. But when you look at the traditional assistive technology that has been available for those who are blind or low vision, you're talking about pretty low tech things like Braille, things like a white cane. Actually, before it was really cool for people to use text-to-speech with things like Siri or Google Home or Amazon Alexa. Text-to-speech was actually used by people who were blind and low vision for a number of years to make computer applications and other technology accessible. So things that were on the screen would actually be read to somebody who's blind or low vision with a text-to-speech voice. Things like OCR, optical character recognition, also was used to be able to capture text that was printed on a piece of paper and made accessible by voice. So there's a number of technologies out there that is called, in general, is under the umbrella of assistive technology, and that's really where Aira is looking to sort of unify many of these assistive technologies into one really powerful tool. Go ahead and jump to the next slide, Sujit. So how does Aira work, and what is it? So Aira in short, is a tool that connects a blind or low vision person to a live trained agent, sighted agent, who's remotely located. And we do that either via a smart app, an app on your phone, via the camera feed on the phone, or via what we call our Horizon smart glasses. And these are custom glasses that are designed to provide the battery life, the camera, the field of view, and the audio that's necessary for a sighted person remotely to be able to assist a blind individual with any number of tasks that they choose to do. So the agent is receiving the video feed on their custom dashboard that's on their computer. And as I said, these agents are trained. They go through a 30-day boot camp to become an Aira agent. We receive literally thousands of applications every month, and we accept less than 1% of our applicants who try to become an agent. The running joke internally is that it's easier to get into Harvard than it is to become an Aira agent. And so we have extremely high expectations. But very few folks actually can pass the test and be able to do a lot of the things that are necessary to help a blind or low vision person in real time using streaming video and audio. In addition, on the dashboard, you have things like the user's GPS location, their custom profile needs, any information about that person, so that the agent is able to give them really a custom experience that they look to receive every time they call in. So Aira is a tool to be used in addition to their travel skills, their cane, their guide dog, but it's one extra source of information. That's really what our goal is with Aira, is to augment their existing skills or their existing tools with extra visual information that they wouldn't already have.
So now that you know what it is, the background between like how it has been built in terms of the network architecture, on the user side, we have lots of devices which BVI use to connect to an Aira agent. So they use smartphones, both iOS and Android, use smart glasses, and these smartphones are used either at home or at when they are on the go, like at a grocery store. So the connectivity needs to be established both from Wi-Fi front and also on a when they are on the go through 4G LTE network using AT&T cellular network, right? So we rely on AT&T cellular network for providing connectivity to our users. And on the right side, we have agents who are remote, who are working from home or who are working at a remote office location. They are either connected through Wi-Fi at their home or in business provided Wi-Fi location at an office. So the initial solution involved integrating these two entities through regular public internet and routing the video streams that are used by agents from users via a media server in the cloud, which is sitting in AWS. So that's how the connectivity was established. And this is all on public internet.
So when we talk about how Aira actually fits into people's lives, you look at things like it's really an end-to-end solution. You're augmenting humans from every aspect of their life, from work to school to play. Aira is involved in virtually every aspect of our users' lives. So when you look at use cases for work, for example, you're having a human agent. It greatly assists those who are blind or low vision in their job, because unfortunately, oftentimes there is inaccessible computer software, there is printed material, there is content that is inaccessible at a job. We try to limit that as much as possible, obviously, but in all actuality, there is still a need for an extra pair of eyes at times to be able to assist you in being as productive as you possibly can. And so oftentimes there would be a need for somebody to either physically walk over and spend some time with the blind or low vision person to help them get access to this information. And that's really where Aira can come in and be a tool to sort of augment that person's capabilities and give them access to that instant visual information. At home, you're talking about really simple tasks or things that many sighted people may seem simple. I can tell you that as a blind person myself, there's nothing more frustrating than getting the mail every day, because it's all printed material and it's all material that I am not able to read, except for when I use the smart glasses with Aira or use my phone camera with Aira, because instantaneously the agent is able to actually identify what is that piece of mail, what is what's this report saying, or what is this bill saying, and I'm able to actually access that information in real time in the same fashion that any sighted person is able to do. So that's really, really, really powerful there. And then just to quickly wrap up on that, you're talking about things like in school, many times blind students are unable to do things like accessing lab equipment. I can remember when I was in a biology class and a chemistry class, as a blind person myself, I was always the person who was taking notes because I was never able to access the lab equipment. I wasn't able to read it because it wasn't accessible. We actually have students today in high schools and colleges today using Aira in the classroom and being able to access all this information independently with that agent so that they're able to get that information in real time. And then, of course, at Play, you're talking about reading restaurant menus and things like that, being able to access that independently as well, not needing to rely on somebody physically being there to read that information. So go ahead and jump to the next slide there. So Aira's AI platform is unique. Aira's AI kind of is in everything, from the user experience on the smart glasses to the user experience for our agents in the dashboard. We have an AI agent that we call Chloe, and Chloe is currently learning a ton about users' environments from the data that we capture and everything else. Our AI is currently learning really unique ways to assist people who are blind or low vision. So take, for example, being able to pinpoint somebody's GPS information, being able to populate direct information on the dashboard for the agent so that they don't have to go looking for that information. Being able to do certain user tasks, such as doing instant optical character recognition, so that somebody doesn't actually have to be connected to an agent, a live human agent, to do some rating, when we actually have the capability to do some optical character recognition and having the AI agent in the glasses speaking to the user. So and then down the road, we're looking at being able to sort of complement by integrating some GPS navigation tools and things like that into the smart glasses as well, so that the user can do a lot more autonomously rather than needing to always rely on that human agent. So in the long run, we're generally looking at sort of this complementary solution between human and AI.
So as Greg emphasized, right? So AI is one of the critical technology piece that is core of Aira's service delivery platform, and he has been emphasizing more on real time. So these are some of the key aspects of we relying on cloud, which provides a lot of compute power, and using the compute power, we can effectively provide all these services. So some of the AI aspects on the agent dashboard side, as Greg mentioned on the user side, on the agent side, we have lots of AI context that we build. Like within the video stream, we all identify the objects, and we do feed intelligent information into the agent dashboard based on user's location. For example, if he is traveling, pull the itinerary of the travel, and some of the personalized aspects of the user, especially in terms of like integrations. We do provide automatic context and pull up like integration services like Uber if user is requesting for Uber. So there's a lot of AI that's running in the background, the inferences that are running in the background that feeds into the dashboard, which an agent uses for him to effectively provide information to the user. Going further on the AI intelligent dashboard, so for example, if you're looking at a slide which shows a user is at a restaurant, using the information about GPS, we are able to quickly identify what's in front of the user, where he's located, and based on the location information, we are able to pull up the menu online and also identify using optical character recognition on the menu that's displayed in front of the restaurant. So these are some of the core features that enable our Aira agents to be more effective. And this is very much needed with cloud computing infrastructure, which is provided by AWS Cloud.
So when we talk about the existing business model for Aira, a lot of people are saying, "What is your, what's your core customers?" And right now we have your B2C, so our consumer base that we work with, and the model there is that it's basically like a cell phone plan. They pay a monthly subscription charge for X number of minutes a month. And that's just one of our models. A lot of people think that we're a direct to consumer company only, and that's not the case. Actually, we have a B2G, so business to government, and also a B2B. So we've already been approved in the VA system and in other aspects of government, things like vocational rehabilitation, the federal government. So being able to offer this not only in the government aspect of being able to provide to consumers in a situation where funding isn't available, but also in addition being able to provide for federal employees as well. So that's another aspect of being able to provide this as well, is being able to sell to government entities. The last one is the B2B or business to business at that point, and I'm going to have Sujith go to the next slide so we can talk a little bit about the Aira Access component of that, which is really where the B2B is. Perfect. So Aira Access is really a new concept started at the end of last year. And it's something that we are super, super excited about. It's a way for a business to provide accessible accommodations for those who are blind or low vision. So very similar to providing public Wi-Fi to everybody, or things like wheelchair ramps or any of that. An agent or a blind user could walk into a location and the app on their smartphone or their smart glasses would basically say, you've entered an Aira Access location, and use of Aira in this location is completely free of charge. It's sponsored by Name That Business. And at that point, it's a service that's provided to blind and low vision patrons of that location. And this really started, the idea of Aira Access started in the airports. So we have over 35 airports now working in partnership with us as Aira Access partners. Places like Minneapolis, St. Paul, San Diego Airport, just a number of other airports out there that as soon as you walk into that airports are challenging for sighted people to navigate. Can you imagine being a blind person and you needing to 100% rely on a sighted person walking next to you? And that's not the case anymore. I can tell you that was my sort of Aira aha moment as somebody in a previous company who traveled a lot, being able to navigate 100% independently by myself, didn't have to wait for anybody, just threw on the smart glasses and was able to navigate that airport. Well, that's provided now completely free. The users don't have to use their minutes. And in addition, we offer a guest option where if you're not even familiar with Aira, you can download the app as a guest if you're in that location and be able to use it completely free of charge, sponsored by that location. So you're talking about things like airports, retail chains. So look, there's a retail chain in the Northeast called Wegmans. It's a grocery store with almost 100 grocery stores, and of course our partner AT&T, all of the AT&T stores being able to shop for a smartphone independently, things like that. And then yesterday we just actually announced all nearly 10,000 Walgreens stores are now Aira Access enabled, meaning that you can walk into a Walgreens, go get a prescription filled, using the help of an agent. And it's an incredible accommodation that businesses can offer to their patrons. And then things like products. So we have a partnership with Intuit. So Intuit wants to see small business owners thrive. And so those people who are blind or low vision and own a small business or are part of the small business community can actually use our service completely free of charge for tasks related to their small business, just a way to make them more employable and more productive. And then, of course, the employer accommodations, things like I was talking about before, making an employer more more accessible to those employees who are blind or low vision, providing Aira in situations where maybe that employer or employee that is blind travels a lot. Well, this is an incredible accommodation you can provide them to make them a heck of a lot more efficient while they're traveling. Maybe you're running some inaccessible software, unfortunately, and you have a plan in place to make that accessible, but for the time being, this is a tool that at least allows them to be productive and to save a lot of the frustration that they would encounter on a daily basis. So from that employer aspect, it's really just about taking, many of you may not know that there is almost a 70% unemployment rate among blind and low vision people. And so Aira really has at our core, we want to work with employers to reduce that employer ratio from 70% to 7%. That's really a huge goal of ours, and it's something we'd love to partner with as many employers on as possible. So when you talk about the end-to-end solution, you're really talking about Aira in every aspect of somebody's life, from education to job seeking to employer access to location access. Aira is available at all stages in somebody's life, whether they're trying to be employed or whether they're a retired person just looking to get extra information on a walk. Maybe they're going to somewhere they haven't been before, and they like to have the agent constantly describing information that's around them. Aira is literally for anybody who is blind or low vision and has the capability to enhance their life and augment their existing tools.
So as you heard, like so many product requirements from Greg, that encompasses on the agent side, user side, there is AI, and he has been emphasizing more on real time. So for this, we need to fuse a lot of technologies, right from wearables where users would be using smartphones and smart glasses, to cloud services where we do a lot of processing in terms of video and machine learning. We had to integrate with a lot of IoT devices for making them accessible for blind and low vision people to seamlessly interface with those devices. And the backend AI/ML is for providing an augmented experience for both for agents and also users. The core of all these rely on the network, and for network we do depend on AT&T as our service provider for full LTE network, which connects to the AWS, seamlessly providing us all the benefits that are needed for providing this service end to end. So some of the early serviceability issues that we have faced with the initial solution that we have implemented is like poor connection. Without connection, it's tough for our users to directly connect to an agent, and agent is the key service delivery aspect. So poor connection has been a big problem in providing a service to user. Congestion, when a user, say for example, a blind low vision guy visits a game, a baseball game, so just imagine the amount of crowd we have in there, everybody doing Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, provides so much congestion. And if you are connecting to an Aira agent and we need to do live video stream, which is like below 100 milliseconds latency, and then two-way audio communication, and to provide a good video to agent for him to provide a real-time description, congestion is a big problem there. And high latency, we had a high latency where when agent was providing instructions to a blind and low vision, say while navigating, and say there's a red car passing by you, but it has actually passed 5 seconds back and not now, right? So it was not providing a low latency environment for us. And on top of all these things, security was a big concern for as everybody, as for sighted people, as for BVI. Security happens to be a concern where like how we are transmitting the data, how we are storing the data, how security is, whether somebody will look at what I'm looking at. Can I use it in my private areas like at home or kitchen? So these are some of the serviceability issues which we had to address with our initial solution, which evolved to our target solution using AT&T, AWS, and NetBond in the network architecture. We have this power of edge devices like smartphones, smart glasses. Yes, we can do a lot of compute there. We have cloud. You can scale horizontally. You can like probably scale infinitely on AWS. But network happens to be one other critical area which we need to address from architecture point of view. So what we did is we partnered with AT&T and designed this architecture where all our users are connected to a private network on AT&T network, and all our agents are also connected to the same private network via MPLS of AT&T. Now, how that is done? So AT&T Mobility provides a capability called dynamic traffic management, which provides prioritization of the traffic on the mobility network. And it provides seamless integration into MPLS network where our agents are connected. Agents can be at home, at office. So if we are talking about an Aira location, we have a direct MPLS connectivity into our Aira locations where agents can seamlessly, wirelessly connect to the MPLS network. And agents who are remote use a VPN client to connect to the MPLS network. And the connectivity between AT&T Mobility and MPLS is again provided by AT&T itself. But all this needs a direct connection into our cloud, because that's where our video is being routed, that's where our AI machine learning happens and inference happens, and the context is delivered to the agent, right? That's where the NetBond plays a critical role, providing us a direct connectivity into direct connect into AWS via direct connect. Earlier thoughts were like, can we use internet via MPLS to reach out to AWS cloud? But when we discovered that there is NetBond, which provides a fiber optic connectivity, like that definitely provides like low latency and the stability on the connection, which enables us to deliver these features. So some of the benefits that we achieved using this network architecture is a prioritized traffic. So imagine this traffic is something like an ambulance going on a freeway, right? So this traffic prioritization happens at mobility network level. So once we have AT&T SIMs installed into these devices, it provides a prioritization at that SIM level. So now we have prioritized traffic on the mobility side, and then a high performant network on the MPLS side into AWS via NetBond. The other benefit what we have is like low latency. We were able to achieve a video stream, a high quality video stream within 100 millisecond latency. And this is very much critical for our agents to provide real-time information. It's like agents should be providing information as it is happening. And from security point of view, it provides a private network, so we don't really have to worry if it is it's still going through interpublic cloud, but it's on a VPC and on a VPN network. So that provides as a second level of security. At the same time, provides a firewall capability into our agent side of the equation. What all business value these technical benefits are fetching is an important aspect to look at. That's where we are emphasizing. That's where that's what we are showing here. So from capability point of view, the benefit that we got is low latency, which
Yeah, so low latency is crucial. Imagine that our agents are basically providing the visual feedback at the same time that things are happening. So real-time access to visual information is crucial for our business.
Yeah, high resolution video. Initially, with the regular regular solution, we had to like stream a video which is like very low resolution. But with the high performance network, we were able to stream like high resolution video, which helps.
Yeah, this is crucial when you're talking about doing things like reading fine print or giving really clear description of scenery or even photos. High resolution video is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, some of the use cases involve like taking images through the smart glasses for the social aspect. People like to take photographs of their dogs, people like to take photographs of their kitchen or even a scenic view when they're outdoors. So when we take these images through smart glasses, it's a single camera. So we had to stop the video stream and convert to a camera mode and take a high resolution image and then upload. And the network provided faster image uploads.
Yeah, and when you look at it, it's one of those things where you're switching between video and image upload. So we needed that real-time quick upload capability so that the agent is getting the photo as quickly as possible, but also being able to resume back to the video feed as quickly as possible so they can continue assisting the user.
And stable connection. This is like so critical. It provided no very less connection drops. Earlier we used to like connect multiple times, but with the network that's implemented, it provided a high stable connection.
Yeah, I mean, there's not any. I would say there's probably nothing more crucial in our business. You don't want the user getting disconnected or dropping signal on a regular basis. It really will turn people off as quickly as possible. So the stable connection is crucial with this.
And not but the least, the security aspect of it, right? It provided VPN, it provided through VPC through VPN. It's all a private network, and on top of it, we have firewall capabilities, which added a lot of value.
Yeah, and it's value for both the agents who we obviously employ and need to have a high security quality as well, but then also for the government agencies who work with Aira and making sure that we adhere to their security standards as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg. We'll now switch to Q&A if you have any questions. I think I'll give it back to the moderator.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, guys. That was super interesting. I was ready to get rocked by a bunch of cool technology using AI, ML, and networking, and all the blind low vision stuff. It's very interesting. So, folks out there, if you have questions, send them in. We've got a number of questions here we can go through. One of the questions was about your sort of storage and data lake. Is it a data lake using S3? Is it anything interesting you can tell us about the data behind the service?
Is it a question to Aira?
Yeah. Pretty much all the questions are for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, so we do leverage a lot of AWS services. Do you mind repeating the question? Sorry, I think I was getting.
Sure. Yeah, there was a question. It was like, is this a data lake? Are you guys using S3? You know, how much data do you guys have? Anything interesting you guys can tell us about the data just running the service?
It's quite a huge data, right? So we do definitely use S3, but in terms of like regular application storage, we depend on RDS. And from a machine learning point of view, we have lots of videos. So S3 is our critical store. We use compute to learn all our machine learning algorithms, pulling data from S3, and then all the models that get generated again goes to S3 and gets distributed across to end devices and also to the agent dashboards. So that's our storage. From analytics point of view, we do leverage some of the AWS services with reports on AWS. What was that service? QuickSight? Yes, there you go. You got me.
Yeah, one other question was anything around Alexa. It seems, with some of the speech to text like you're mentioning, that Alexa might be interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. I would look to Greg to answer that question. He is the key to the Alexa piece.
Yeah, right now we don't have a direct integration with Alexa. It's definitely something that we are looking into. Right now we're using our in-house AI agent just because we have a lot of really special use cases, along with a hardware integration that a user needs to access a lot of the hardware, the custom hardware that we're working with. So as of right now, no, but that doesn't mean that we're not at all open to that, and that's something we would love to pursue.
Cool. One question was sort of about your just general security, like what sort of security concerns and sort of how do you control the access that the agents have and those kinds of things?
Yeah, so from security point of view, everything is like encrypted and stored in AWS cloud. The access to agents, data from like video recording, anything is not available as such. This is only the models that are generated based on machine learning are provided to agents. The data itself is like security and securely stored, encrypted, and it's only used. For example, if I have to talk in terms of the videos, they are only used for internal training purposes, and the other aspect is if it has to be visited for any issues that needs to be addressed. So it's all internal purpose. Nothing is like publicly provided.
And then I guess from a networking perspective, you guys have some sort of direct connect fiber from basically your data center back in AWS, and that's where the AT&T hook in is at?
Yeah, true. So at our locations, we have MPLS endpoints that are installed. with Cisco routers configured, and that directly hooks up to the fiber optic network of the MPLS and connects into the AT&T network cloud. And internally, it gets routed to, say, NetBond, and from there it goes to the AWS. So that way, we have a private network on top of the AT&T MPLS network.
And I imagine a lot of those business partners that you have, that airports and government buildings, those kinds of things, they probably also want to join that MPLS network so that they can join and have that sort of reliable, because you don't really want to get lost in an airport when the connectivity goes out, right? So I imagine it's a lot of those business-to-business connections as well.
Yeah, especially that plays role when we are like at providing services to an employer, and that needs to be like more secure, and employers are like more concerned to be having their premises enabled with privacy and security. Airports might not be of an issue because at airports people are usually connected on 4G LTE network, so we are already VPN network. But whereas when it goes to employers, if users are connected on Wi-Fi, and it still goes through employers' Wi-Fi network, which has to go on a public internet. But we are working with some of the employers to enable the private network there, which directly hooks up to the AT&T's MPLS network.
Okay, cool. Well, I thought it was super interesting. And that's sort of all I have from AWS perspective. Unless you guys have any sort of closing thoughts or anything, I would like to thank people for joining and sticking in here with us, and appreciate you for joining. And we'll have this posted out on YouTube later.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying thanks so much. It was a pleasure to be to work with you all, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
So it looks like there's a guy called Mark who is asking how do we access YouTube channel. Look, but the presentation has only view your YouTube channel, doesn't give the YouTube link. So Mark, we would be sharing this presentation after the session. You should be able to click it, or if you go to youtube.com and just search for Aira, we have our public channel there, and you have all the videos that you can look into.
Cool.
And,
great. All right.
Thank you,
well,
everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining.